Hey, Tito, Jeff Thitoff here with your Blue Jackets Blitz. Follow me on Twitter @ThatHappens. Go to FanstreamSports.com. Check out all of our latest content. We've got new stuff we're adding all the time. FanstreamSports.com. We're going to be joined now by Aaron Portzline. We'll get him on here in a second from The Athletic. Aaron Portzline's covered the Jackets since the day they started. He's been doing it for years with the Columbus Dispatch and now at The Athletic. He is the guy you want to talk to about the Columbus Blue Jackets, some of their struggles so far this season, where the team's at now. We're going to talk to him about all of that. And now we're joined by Aaron Portzline from The Athletic. Aaron Portzline's been covering the Jackets since day one, back in his old days, the Columbus Dispatch. And Porty, thanks for the time, first of all. And I'm curious, the Jackets coming off a tough loss last night. They get out in front early and then lose 4-1 to Carolina. How would you grade this season, 30 games in for the Jackets?
I think it's probably, I would say C- or D+, frankly. I think there are expectations this year that were not in place last year, and they have not met them. So I would put them at a barely passing or below passing grade.
And what are you going to point to on that one? Because, I mean, like, you know, the goaltending, I feel like the goaltending's been, I don't know about better, more consistent. Is it fair to say that?
It's been consistent. One half of it, it's been better. One half of it,
okay.
One half is Jet Greaves. Elvis, I think, started out pretty darn good, but he has returned to form here the last few. The game in Florida was unacceptable. I didn't like the game, the Detroit game. I know I was a little surprised he started the Florida game, but I think they were looking at the back-to-back and decided to give him Florida and Jet Washington. But, yeah, Jet Greaves has been pretty good, and nobody wants to celebrate anybody on this team right now. It hasn't been a big deal good, but he's been pretty darn good. Top 10 in a lot of the advanced stats. His save percentage is well over 9. So that's a good point. I think the real shock with this team is that they have, maybe it's not even a shock, but the one disappointment is that they not only have they not improved themselves defensively, they've gotten worse. So they're giving up more goals this year than they did last year. And I think that's probably really frustrating for the coaching staff, because I think they felt like that was going to be the focus this year. Not only are they scoring fewer goals, but they're giving up more. And so that's really troubling. And that's really the part that has to be fixed. They give up more shots than any team in the league. Really, what those shots look like is what's important. But over the whole, nobody wants to be the team in the league that gives up the most shots on goal. And so that's got to be better. And their defense isn't good enough. We all know that. I think it's the forwards as well, though. I'll keep banging that drum. Everybody has to be more committed defensively, and I don't think this young group has found the balance yet of being the offensive players they can be, the offensive talent that comes naturally to them, and defending, which is the hardest part for a lot of these young, talented players. I think you're seeing that.
Is it more – is it coaching – or is it talent? Can you point to one or the other? Like, the reason they're where they're at, the reason you give them a C- right now, is it? Do you think it's more coaching and schematic, or is it more just not having enough talent on the team?
Well, I think it's both. I think there's certainly some areas that they could upgrade roster wise. Having said that, they have enough talent, I think, to score enough goals in this league. Kent Johnson has been a little bit better lately, but he's basically disappeared from last year. For probably 25 games this season, Sean Monahan was nothing like he was last year. He's been, again, a little bit better this year. But last year they had 2 forward lines that were rolling offensively. This year they've had 1. That's it. That second line with Monahan in the middle now just has not made a consistent impact. So that's the players. And we could go on about the players, but for brevity's sake, let's say that about the players. Coaching-wise, I think you can question a lot of the things that have occurred this year. I think it's on Igor Chinakhov to prove himself worthy of a top 6 job, but I don't like entirely the way that that's been handled either. I think it's probably harder to make the argument now, because Chinakhov has had some chances to play in the top 6 and just hasn't grabbed them. But that feels to me like a talent wasted. The other thing is, 2 other points. They've had some overtimes this year. Overtime, 3-on-3. There's no way to check this. You can't defend 3-on-3. Basically, you defend by having the puck. And yet Isaac Lundestrom, who until recently hadn't scored a goal, was getting overtime ice time. There was a game against Pittsburgh where Luca Pinelli, I like Luca Pinelli as a prospect. This is nothing against him. But in his second NHL game, he's part of the first group that goes out on the ice against the Penguins and Sidney Crosby. And not only does that raise eyebrows, but if you're on the bench and you're Adam Fantilli or you're Kent Johnson, or you're like, what's going on here? Like, what's the value of the pecking order that's been developed here the last couple of years? I think Fantilli's been really good this year. I think there are some situations where if he finished more, his numbers would be elevated even higher. He's been that close, but I don't think he's done anything to be part of the third group out for overtime. And honestly, in overtime, 3-on-3, I think you should have 2 forward pairs and 2 defensive pairs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like in 5 minutes, empty the tank and get going here. I don't like, we've seen some instances. There was a game where they had a power play in overtime, so 4-on-3. And with 39 seconds left, they had 3 defensemen out as part of that 4-on-3 for them. They had the 4, and 3 of them were defensemen. And part of the reason given was that they wanted to be ready to defend when that power play ended. Well, you're in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
The goal here is to end that overtime on your own volition. End it. Like, load up on forwards. I could argue, honestly, there for 4 forwards. Like, let's be aggressive. I don't like that from a personal standpoint, but I also don't like it from just a psychological standpoint. Like, that message is let's not lose instead of let's go win. And I think they've got the talent, offensive talent, especially in that setting, 3-on-3, to go win.
Why do you think they've blown so many leads late in games?
To me, that is intestinal and psychological fortitude. I just think there is, and once that gets into your game, I think it's really hard to get it out because everybody's thinking it, and then you kind of oscillate between we don't want to talk about it, we have to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
Stop talking about it. Like, ignore it, but you can't ignore it. It's a thing. And
Sure.
so just completely overthinking. It's sort of like years ago when it would be like, no, Michigan's just another week on the Ohio State football schedule. Don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, come on, right? And then the next guy's like, no, we're going to talk about it. We're going to practice it every week. It's all this psychological, just busy in the head thinking. And I want more guys to be more aggressive, to be more on their toes. Tito, I did not like at all the game against Florida when Brad Marchand skates over to the bench and listens in on, like, what the hell are you doing here?
Right.
And a lot of people, and I get this, it's funnier than hell that somebody would have the ball.
It's funny if it happens to another team.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But, like, if I'm that team that he's listening in on, like, I mean, gloves off, what are we doing?
Right.
And people are like, oh, come on, laugh a little. Well, just think about that. If Adam Fantilli had gone over to the Florida bench, right?
He get knocked on his ass.
Oh, and we would be arguing about who's the first guy over the bench or the wall to get to him. Is it Bennett? Is it Marchand? It was for sure be Matthew Tkachuk if you were there. They wouldn't think, oh, what a crazy guy Fantilli is. Isn't that hilarious? That is a complete lack of respect, in my opinion, for the Blue Jackets, the organization, and the players. And the fact that response was so mild and like, get out of here.
Right.
That bothers me. That bothers me. Because I was told years ago that you define yourself, your character, by how you respond in those small moments you can't prepare for. And that was, to me, was a small moment that deserved a bigger response.
Speaking of Fantilli, I know that negotiations are going to happen and whatnot as far as his long-term future here in Columbus. Do you get the vibe that he really enjoys being in Columbus? And do you think that he will end up being here long term?
I get the vibe that he does enjoy being here. I don't think this contract is going to be an issue. I would also say this. I don't believe for a second. I never believe, and this is nothing against the people saying it, in this case, GM Don Waddell or the agent, Pat Brisson. I never believe when they say, well, we pushed talks to February. Right. That basically means, would you leave us alone for 3 months? Let us just deal with this.
Right.
I'm not saying that they are for sure talking. But listen, if I'm the Blue Jackets, I'm not giving the kid everything he wants, but the numbers have gone up so high here. I completely understand why he didn't want to sign last summer. I do.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything's just going up. But I think they'll get something done. I think long-term what's going to determine if he really wants to stay here or not, and I don't think this is unique to Columbus or anywhere else, if he feels he can win. Like, to me, he's the team's number one center. He needs to be treated as such. I think he's the first guy out 3-on-3. Right? Let's go. I mean, stop with this. He's got to be on the power play. He wasn't on the power play at the start of the season. That's a joke. So start riding him like a number one. You're going to pay him like a number one, whether you like it or not. That's where the league is right now. And this is the guy that they've always wanted. They feel like they've had a couple before. Dubois got away.
Right.
That's a mess. But I don't see the issue there on this contract. But I think the success of the organization will determine the next one.
As far as the playoffs go, the chance for the postseason, I want you to think back to when, right before the season started, to now. Yeah. Are you more optimistic, less optimistic, or about the same on their chances of making the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm about the same. And I've been thinking about this too. Like they are ahead of where they were last year at this time. I know last year should not be the standard. But every season, every team goes through a patch where things just don't make sense. If they're 6-4-6 in their last, sounds like an MLS record, in their last 16 games.
Right.
If we look back on this and say that was their rough patch, you can handle 6-4-6 as a rough patch.
Sure. Yeah.
I think the concern is that this is just a harbinger of this is just who they are as a team. And if that's the case, then you've got a lot to be concerned about. And I don't think you wait too long. I don't think you get 50, 60 games where if this continues, you start to make decisions as you would for a team that is, as they are, still growing. So you're turning it over to Jet Greaves. I think they've kind of already done that already.
Yeah.
Again, Fantilli starts eating 20-plus minutes a night. You start putting people higher in the lineup. You got to do something with Chinnikov. Like either give him a role. I'm not sure the kid really wants to be here anymore at this point.
Yeah.
He has said as much. That's not a good look for him. But figure something out here and make a move, because that's right now that's being a wasted spot, 1-12 each night.
Get you out here on this one, and it's going to be a quick thing off the top of your head because I didn't give you time to prepare for it. This is the 25th season. So out of all the seasons you've been covering the Jackets, where does this one rank as far as talent on the roster? Is it like a top 5? Is it top 10? Just top to bottom talent of the roster compared to other Jackets teams?
Well, it's definitely top 5.
Okay.
It's for sure top 5. And I say that because, A, Werenski, but B, the strength of this team down the middle, like at forward. That is the centers it's the hardest thing to find. And they've tried forever to have this sort of depth. So Fantilli, Monahan, Charlie Coyle, that gives them a real strength down the middle. You fill in with wingers. That's much easier than trying to find a center. So I think just for those two reasons, goaltending is an issue. There are still people, I think, who believe Jet Greaves is best served as a number 2. I think he's for sure a number 2, but they need another NHL goaltender here. And I think that decision needs to be made sooner rather than later.
Porty, the man. Thanks so much, buddy. We appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, Tito. Good
you bet.
Chatting with you.
That was Aaron Portzline there with The Athletic, joining us here on Fantasy Sports with the Blue Jackets Blitz. Appreciate him for hopping on to us. Make sure you go to fantasysports.com. Check us out and all our great content we have out there. It's being updated constantly. I'm Jeff Thitoff. Follow me on Twitter. Tito at That Happens on Twitter. Follow me there. We'll talk again soon, folks.